bhavatu sahanau bhunaktu sah viryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram. We will chant the two verses 34 and 39 together. 34 and 39. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinah shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatparas sanyatendriyah jnanam labdhva param shantim achirenadhigacchati. Somebody must open the door. It's locked probably. Fourth chapter is called as Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Through Jnana, doing Karma Sannyasa. Through knowledge, negating this doership, so that any karma done through this ahankara gets negated. The main essence of fourth chapter is in the verse Karmani akarmayav pashyet. In action, seeing inaction. Then akarmani cha karmayah. In the apparent inaction of ahankara, not mistaking that to be inaction of the self. Akarmani cha karmayah sabuddhiman manusheshu sayuktah kritsna karmakrut. That person is buddhiman, that person has accomplished purpose of human birth. Having said this, Bhagavan then took up the topic of different yajnas, where Bhagavan said, if we have to absorb this knowledge, if we have to digest this Vedantic knowledge, own it up and benefit from it, we need a prepared mind, a mind which is very, very disciplined. Gurudev would say, if you are unable to pay attention to things outside, how will you pay attention to thoughts? If a gross object outside is difficult to pay attention in terms of cleanliness, in terms of discipline around our routine, how are we going to discipline our thoughts? So keeping that in mind, Bhagavan elaborated 13 different yajnas. He said, take up anything, it will take us to our goal. What is the goal? Yajnah kshapita kalmashaha. Any yajna done in a disciplined way will remove the impurities of the mind which is very turbulent. That mind will mellow down, it will come under the sadhaka's control. For that he said, be yatayah samshita vrataha. Put forth lot of effort and try to perfect whichever yajna we have taken up. Having elaborated all of this, Bhagavan concluded by saying, Arjuna, even though you are doing all these yajnas, but remember, moksha is not result of any of these yajna. Bhagavan Krishna is a master teacher. He explains everything. Last master stroke is something different. Elaborated lot of yajnas, told how to practice it, how to do it. But his final teaching is karmajan vidhitan sarvan evam jnatva vimokshase. Knowing that all these yajnas demand doership. All these yajnas presume that you have accepted finitude. With that finite ahankara, the project to beautify that ahankara is called as yajna. And the project to negate that ahankara is part of jnanam. Having negated that ahankara, that self which is already there, that self becomes available to me. I don't have to produce the self. I don't have to bring the Chaitanya Swarupa Atma from outside. Nor has anything happened to that Atma right now. Even when I'm thinking, my mind is turbulent, mind is having so many impurities, Atma is untouched by any of the limitations of these conditionings. Therefore, Bhagavan says, Shreyan Dravyamayad Yajnat Jnana Yajnah Parantapa. Compared to all other yajnas, Jnana Yajna is the supreme-most one because it removes the doer itself. It removes finitude itself, which is a product of ignorance. First, there is avidya. In that avidya, because we think of ourselves to be finite, there is desire to seek joy from outside. That desire pushes us into actions. Those actions again bring more vasanas, and that cycle continues. So what is that thing which will make us come out of the cycle of karma, karma phala, bhoga, again more karma, again bhoga, and so on? Bhagavan says that knowledge is a self-knowledge. It will remove ignorance, remove finitude. Whatever is our nature, that will become available to us. Now, this is the jnanam that I should seek. Bhagavan says, know the means of gaining this knowledge. I remember once Puja Guruji was elaborating 4th chapter. Guruji said, this is a comprehensive chapter. It has sadhana, it has siddhanta, and it also has the in-between method. How should I go so that I can do both of it, sadhana and siddhanta? Means how to do Guru Upasatti. That part is also given here. Siddhanta part, 16th verse. Karmani akarmayah pashet, akarmani cha karmayah. Sadhana part, all the 13 yajnas. And Guru Upasatti part, 34th verse and 39th verse. It's a full Vedantic journey presented in one chapter. So 34th verse, Bhagavan said, Tad vidhi, know the means to attain that knowledge. What is the means? 3 external means were pointed out. 3 external preparations we need to gain this knowledge. First one was pranipata. Pranipata means approaching the teacher with humility. Whatever we might have learnt otherwise, that knowledge should not become an obstacle in gaining this spiritual knowledge. Otherwise, majority of our time goes in unlearning what we have learnt. Every knowledge in this world is knowledge of an object. And for that, I have to use sense organs. I can do an experiment with that object. Now, if I come with the same mindset to Vedanta, same mindset in the sense, I want to experience Brahman. What Vedanta has been telling is that because of which experience is possible, that is Brahma. Now, the moment I say I want to experience Brahma, means I want to make it an object of my sense organs. At least, if not sense organs, at least mind. So that unlearning is easier if there is pranipata. Pranipata means approaching with humility, with the spirit that I want to learn. Then, after pranipata came seva, not pariprashna. Having approached a teacher, the next step is to serve. And serve in such a way that we don't allow our ahankara to come in between. One meaning of seva we had seen is that bhava which comes, which reminds a sadhaka that my well-being is in the hands of my altar. So if I say I am Sevaka of the Lord, how does a sadhaka feel? My well-being is in the hands of my Bhagavan. Another indicator of seva is that altar in front of whom we can cheerfully let go of our sankalpa. That altar in front of whom we feel happy to let go of our sankalpa, that altar is our savior. There are different facets to keep looking at what is seva. One of our Swamiji, he had gone to one program in India. They called themselves Seva Organization or something. And they asked our Swamiji that, आपको कैसे लगा हमारा program? कैसे लगा? How did you like whatever things we did? If you have any guidance, please let us know. And they were doing social work, a lot of social projects they were doing. The Swamiji said, in seva, the one to whom we are offering seva, that person is our Swami. The altar towards whom we are offering seva, that person is our Swami. Then they said, we got our answer. Otherwise, what happens is, if I serve somebody, I feel I am helping that person. But here the bhava is, my savior alone can appear as different altars, but the one towards whom I am offering seva, that is my Swami. With that bhava, he says that is the second qualification. First one is pranipata, then seva. Now even if pranipata is there, even if seva is there, unless we ask a question, ignorance will not go away. Unless we ask a question, ignorance will not go away. Which question to ask? Several places we are told indicators. Many of you attended Bhajagovindam session, right? Do you remember the 5 question paper Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji had given? Kate kanta kaste putrah samsaro yamativa vichitrah kasyatvam tvam kah kuta ayatah tatvam chintaya tadiha bhratah. How to ask questions? Is to start from these questions. Either we get it ourselves or we borrow it from them and make it our question and start thinking. Means all the sambandhas which are there, where have they come from? What is the relationship between two reflections? You remember that discussion, right? One sun getting reflected in 2 parts, same consciousness getting reflected in 2 conditionings which we call as 2 jivas. And we have assumed that there are relationships with those 2 reflections. Bhagavan is asking us to question that. He says we are related only through the sun. Otherwise, those 2 reflections are just close by. There is no relation between 2 reflections. You take any Upanishad, there you will find different questions that students have asked. What is that thing knowing which everything becomes known? Eka vijnanena sarvam vijnatam bhavati. Knowing one, everything becomes known. What is that thing? Is there something which is the cause of everything? That is his question. Then the Upanishad Rishi elaborates, there is something called as Brahma, from which this whole creation has come. You know the gold, you will know all the ornaments. You know that consciousness, you will know everything which is emerged from that consciousness. That consciousness you are. Knowing that, one will be free. No more running around, no more going after a particular name and form. I'm just highlighting different Upanishads. Whichever we have studied, now we should go back and see what kind of questions the students have asked. Srimad Bhagavatam has a question by Parikshit Ji Maharaj. He says, if a person has 7 days to live, what should he do? Tasmat Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Harihi Shrotavyah Smartavyah Kirtitavyascha. That Bhagavan we should remember, we should praise, sing His glory, and know more about that Bhagavan, Saguna Rupa and Nirguna Rupa. Entire Ramcharitmanas is an answer to the question by Parvati ji. She says, who is Bhagwan Rama? I saw one Bhagwan Rama who was lamenting and crying. People also call him Dasharatha Putra. On the other hand, you call him Jaya Satchidananda. Who is this Bhagwan Rama? If he is Satchidananda, how come he is crying? If he is all-knowing, then why is he searching for Sita ji? Please answer this question. So answer to Parvati ji's question is entire Ramcharitmanas. All three have come. Pranipata is there, Seva is there, and Pariprashna is there. If this happens, Bhagavan Krishna says, Upadekshanti te jnanam. Teacher will teach, but the student will understand. Both sides are there. Upadekshanti te jnanam means if a student goes with this bhavana, he will get the teaching. Jnaninaha tattvadarshinaha, by those jnanis who are tattvadarshis. Then comes 39th verse. 34th verse was outer, external preparation. 39th verse is inner preparation. 39th verse is inner preparation. First one, Bhagwan says, qualification needed for this knowledge is Shraddhavan. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Last time we had discussed this point, right? One who has dhanam is called as dhanavan. So one who has Shraddha will be called as Shraddhavan. But pay attention there. If somebody comes and keeps dhanam next to me for 1 hour, he says, I am going somewhere, I have kept here, please keep a watch. For that 1 hour, even though dhanam is next to me, I am not called as Dhanavan. Why is it so? Because mamatva is not there in that dhanam. I don't feel that this dhanam belongs to me. Only when I get a valid thought that this is my dhanam, I can be called as Dhanavan. Like that, I can be living with a person who has faith. You say, my parents, grandparents are all very, very faithful. Still, I will not be called as Shraddhavan. The one who has faith, he feels he has Shraddha, that person is called as Shraddhavan. Proximity is not the metric to get the title of Van. Last session we had seen what is the meaning of the word Shraddha. What is the Sanskrit etymology? Saddhate yaya vritya sa Shraddha. That quality of the intellect which accepts a thing to be true. 5 people saying 5 things doesn't make the same impression on us. But if you have one person in whom you have Shraddha, that person might be saying the same thing as the next person. But the impact that the person in whom we have Shraddha is much greater. So that ability of the intellect to accept a thing to be true. Okay, that is the simple meaning of Shraddha. Now the question is, how does Shraddha come? If somebody wants to increase Shraddha, increase faith, where can I get it? It is definitely not available outside. Right? No matter which object you get, we cannot get faith like that. So our scriptures say there are some ways by which Shraddha can come. One of the way of bringing faith, or if there is faith seen in somebody, what it indicates is that person has done a lot of punya karma in the past, either in this life or in past life. And result of that punya karma is Shraddha. You see, in entire Ramcharitmanas, the personality of Janak Maharaj and Dashrath Maharaj, they are the embodiments of faith. Both of them are embodiments of faith. There is one portion where Dashrath Maharaj is sitting on one side, Janak Maharaj is sitting on other side, and doing a yajna. Goswamiji writes, if such great people are doing one yajna, Phalashruti will come even before that yajna is complete. Means that is their faith, that is their power of punya karma. So if there is Shraddha seen in anybody, that must have come because of punya karma done in the past. Second source of Shraddha is when somebody lives a life of values. When somebody lives a life of values, that person will be blessed with Shraddha. If you want to appreciate this point, do it the other way. Think about it the other way. If somebody is living an unethical life, that person will find very, very difficult to have faith in anybody. If somebody is living a dharmic life, to trust in the goodness of others, that also will become difficult. What is the example for this? Shakuni. Mahabharata. Shakuni's every step was dipped in deceit. Always he was plotting, always scheming. So much so that he felt Bhagwan Krishna is the greatest, person who can cheat other than me. That was his bhava. He said, if there is anybody greater at deceit, that is Bhagwan Krishna. Ravana looked at Bhagwan Rama with the same lens with which he was living his life. So person who is walking on the path of adharma, that person will find very, very difficult to have this Shraddha. Two things. One was punya karma and second was walking on the path of dharma. To appreciate that point, you can take the other side and analyze it. But what we want to say is, how does Shraddha come? Either through punya karma or through dharmic life. Third one of bringing Shraddha or increasing Shraddha is having satsang with people who have this faith. That could be family members, that could be our social circle, friends, wherever it is. You say the same situation when person A was facing without faith, and same situation person B is facing with faith. There is so much of difference in their ability to go through that same situation. And the pandemic time has taught us a lot about faith. What is the power of it, and how can one go through difficult times, come out of it on the strength of faith? So that is his third source, where he learns about Shraddha. More by seeing and observing. Okay, 3 things. Now comes the most beautiful part. What does this Shraddha do to us? First we saw just the definition of Shraddha. Then we saw how does Shraddha come. Now we are seeing what does faith do to us. He says it makes us accept things even if we don't see it in front of us right away. That is the beauty of Shraddha. Even if something is not pratyaksha, if something is not there right in front of our eyes right now, still we will accept and start walking. The best example for this is homeopathy. Those who have Shraddha in homeopathy, you see the sweet looking pill, it will cure you of your fever. Now those who have Shraddha in that, no other place they will go. But fever is raging, it is so high. How will this sweet looking pill cure? I have Shraddha. So even if I don't see the result right in front, this person can still keep walking. See, Shraddha is something we need at every step. I'm not discussing that part too much, but I hope we can think on our own. Even if we go to a dentist, open our mouth and look up, they get in with all the pliers and this and that, so many things they put inside. We have faith that they know what they're doing and I'll be safe, end of the day. Later on, Bhagavan says, the one who is a doubting Thomas, one who always keeps doubting, he says that person cannot accomplish anything. Even simple office if we have to run, we need faith on people who are running that office. Right? So over here, what does Shraddha do? Even if I don't see something in front of me right now, my intellect will still accept that thing to be true and I can keep walking. Gurudev says, faith opens a doorway for inquiry. Faith opens a doorway for inquiry. What I would have closed myself to, even from exploring, in that field at least I can start asking questions, I can enter the door of inquiry. Now imagine how much of faith we would need in accomplishing that goal, which never becomes an object of sense organs. In Vedanta we say we are seeking Brahman, and Brahman never becomes object of sense organs. You cannot see it, you cannot taste it, you cannot touch it. The very fact that such a thing exists, and many Mahatmas have sought it, and they have become content by attaining it. To start inquiring into this thing, how much faith we need. That is why the Shanti mantra of Kenopanishad, what does a student seek? Maham Brahma Nirakuryam, Ma Brahma Nirakarot, Anirakaranamastu Anirakaranam me astu. That much is good. He says, Upanishads say everything is consciousness. Everything is Brahma. But I don't see it that way. I see everything as name and form. I see a tree, I see a room, I see glass, I see carpet, I see chair. I see so many people. But still he says, may I not deny this teaching. Maham Brahma Nirakuryam. May I not deny this teaching and deprive myself of this goal. There is nothing the teacher is going to lose, nor the teaching is going to lose. I had heard from devotee who became a great devotee of Puja Gurudev just by listening one sentence. That was his starting point. Gurudev had a yajna in Oval Maidan in Bombay. And this devotee was just walking outside, and banners were there, loudspeakers were there, thousands of people sitting. And this was the first sentence he heard. Gurudev said, "Your acceptance of the Gita will not increase its glory. Your rejection of the Gita will not tarnish its image because it is eternal. You can come, you can benefit, and make your life divine." He said, only one sentence I heard. From that day, I have attended all his talks. That is the bhavana, that is the Shraddha, that may we not deny this teaching. However long it takes to get this vision that there is only Brahma, all Nama Rupa is Mithya. Ma Brahma Nirakarot. May Bhagwan not deny me of this teaching. One is we denying ourselves, or Bhagwan's grace, which was there in plenty for us to start walking on this path, may that not be taken away. Okay, that is what Shraddha does. And it is said, whichever satkarma we are doing, whichever good action we are doing, dharmic action we are doing, all of that needs Shraddha. Right? So one of the definition of Shraddha is that which makes a person do satkarma. No results of most of the satkarmas don't come right away. Right? We do some Parayanam, do Bhagavad Saptaha, whatever we are doing as a satkarma, result of that satkarma is not immediate. But that faith this sadhaka has, if I have done it, I don't have to worry about the result. What all things did we see so far? Definition of Shraddha, how does Shraddha come, and what does Shraddha do? Now one last point. There is something called as Samanya Shraddha and something called as Vishesha Shraddha. Samanya Shraddha means general faith. For example, if you take actions, right? What is Samanya Shraddha in action? We say we should do good, we will get good. Live a moral life, do good, that person will get good. This is called as Samanya Shraddha. What is Vishesha Shraddha? This sadhaka feels, if I have done my part, my Bhagwan will make sure whatever is the appropriate result, that will come to me. His Shraddha has found an anchor in Bhagwan. Do you see a difference between both the Shraddhas? Samanya Shraddha is in general. We say we should live an ethical life, we should do good, get good. But Vishesha Shraddha is, this person knows, if I have done my part, Bhagwan is there who is Karma Phaladata, who will take care of whichever results have to come. That is called as Vishesha Shraddha. We get so many Upadesha, advice from different saints. What is Samanya Shraddha in that advice? You say, all saints say we should have a disciplined spiritual routine. Right? We have heard it in so many places. One should do prayers, one should live a disciplined life. Spiritual discipline should be there. This is Samanya Shraddha. Vishesha Shraddha is, my teacher has told me to do these things in my routine. If I do it, I don't have to worry about preparing myself in my sadhana. That is called as Vishesha Shraddha. Means that Shraddha when it finds an anchor. And we have firm conviction that if I hold on to this, I will reach my goal. That is called as Vishesha Shraddha. Now imagine if Brahman is our goal, if this knowledge of removal of ahankara, finitude, removal of the finitude, which is ahankara, if that is our goal, how much of Vishesha Shraddha we need in Shastra? Means if scriptures are saying Jagat is mithya, if scriptures are saying this ahankara is mithya, that person doesn't ask any further questions. Bhagavan Raman Maharshi says in Saddarshanam, Aha sputam tattvamasiti vedaha bhuyo vicharaha mati durbalatvam. He says if Vedas have clearly said tattvamasi, aha sputam tattvamasiti vedaha bhuyo vicharaha. If you are again thinking, oh, am I Brahman? Is world mithya or is it real? He says that is a lack of our sadhana chatushtaya. Bhuyo vicharaha mati durbalatvam. And in sadhana chatushtaya, one of the topmost one is Shraddha. Means only the person who has Shraddha will own up this fact that Upanishad is pramanam. Whatever Upanishads are saying, we don't need another means of knowledge to validate it. They can only complement it, support it, but there is no need to validate it with any other means of knowledge. This conviction when we get, that is called as Vishesha Shraddha. Otherwise, Samanya Shraddha is all Upanishads, all Bhagavad Geeta, Bhagavatam, Ramayana are telling us good things. And they are. So that is Samanya Shraddha. But the moment we take it as pramanam, and we say, if Upanishad has said this, that mantra becomes my pramana mantra. Pramana mantra means valid means of knowledge. If once Upanishads have said, it becomes pramanam, that means the sadhaka has Vishesha Shraddha in Upanishad. If these three things can happen, then it is said, knowledge has to take place. I said three things, but you have seen only one of those three. All of you are also nodding, yes. There is Shraddha, then there is Tatparaha and Sanyatendriya. In that verse you see, 39th verse. What we just saw was only Shraddha. What is Shraddhavan? What is the definition of Shraddha? How does it come? What does Shraddha do? Then what is Samanya Shraddha? What is Vishesha Shraddha? The one who has all of these things, that person is called as Shraddhavan. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Then is Tatparaha. Tatparaha means one who puts Brahman, one who puts the spiritual pursuit on the top of his priority list. Otherwise, he feels everything I will do, if I have time, I will do this. The entire text of Bhajo Govindam is to remind us that if spirituality is not in our priority list, Bhagavan says, please add it. If it is 10th in that order, Bhagavan says, please make it go up. So that person who is having this clarity that Brahman alone is my goal, not because somebody else is telling her, because he has inquired into nature of life. He has inquired into the results that come through life. Through life means through karma. That he has inquired very thoroughly. That is why he says, I am tatpara for nitya vastu. Tatpara for nitya vastu, what in other words we call it as varanam, single pointed quest for it. Now we should remember, no matter which ashrama we are, goal is the same. Goal is the same. It is just like in a train we have different class, right? Or in a flight also you have different class, economy, premium economy, business, first class. Although we are 4 different classes, it is not there. Business class will go to one destination, economy will go somewhere else. Goal is the same. Like this, different ashramas might be there. He said that ashrama doesn't have an independent goal. Whatever we are doing in that ashrama should lead us to this main goal. There was a person who went to this airline counter. He had 3 bags. He said, 1 bag you sent to New York, 2nd you sent to Seattle, 3rd you sent to LA. That person said, such a thing is not possible. He said, last time you did the same thing. Without me asking, you did, this time you do it. He said, goal is the same. We should not feel if I am in Brahmacharya ashrama, then I have some other goal. Grahastha ashrama, some other goal. Vanaprastha ashrama, something else. Only sannyas ashrama has this goal. The whole purpose of this big picture idea of ashrama is the path or the means by which we are walking towards that goal, that is different. Somebody might be doing it through more service-oriented way. Somebody might be doing it through more study. But he said, don't change your goal. Goal has to be the same. That is what you have to seek. The one who has understood this, that person is called as Tatparaha. Tat means Brahma. The one who takes Brahman as Paraha. Not anything else. Okay, Tatparaha Sanyatendriyaha. At the same time, all his transactions are very, very controlled, very moderate. That person will reach the goal. Now you see that verse again. Shraddhavan labate jnanam tatparaha sanyatendriyaha. Think about what will happen if one of these 3 things is missing. Do you want to try? Let us see. Shraddha is missing. That person is tatparaha and sanyatendriyaha. Means he doesn't feel Upanishads are pramanam. Upanishads will reveal nature of truth. He always has doubt about what is this Upanishad saying. Everything is Brahma, Jagat is mithya. But he wants to know the truth. And Tatpara, Sanyatendriya also. Now and then goes to pilgrimage, now and then does some vratam. He said, Jnanam labdhva is difficult. Now keep Shraddha, keep Sanyatendriya. Tatpara is missing. Has lot of faith. This is Upanishads. They are Apaurusheya. They are revelations of Rishis. And lives a disciplined life also. But he said, do you want Brahman? No hurry. Wherever I am very good. I am not in a rush to go and seek Brahman. Jnanam labdhva is difficult. Okay, if you are not connecting with Jnanam labdhva, read the second line. What happens after Jnanam labdhva? Param shantim achirenadi gacchati. If there is no Jnanam, Bhagavan says there is no peace also. So if Tatparata is missing, Shanti is missing from his life. If Shraddha is missing, Shanti is missing from his life. Then what is the last one? Shraddha is there, Tatparata is there, but not Sanyatendriya. Mind is very turbulent. Transactions are not disciplined. Gets angry anytime. Does whatever he wants to do. So then also Shanti will not be there. Bhagavan Krishna's every word is very, very precise. If he has used 3 words, that means they are the most important qualifications. Shraddhavan labate jnanam tatparaha sanyatendriya. Jnanam labdhva, having gained this knowledge, param shantim, supreme most peace. Bhagwan uses the adjective param shantim. Huh? Otherwise, there can be shanti with fear of upadrava. Fear of upadrava means what, Now everything is good. But I don't know next moment what will happen. Like Sugriva. Sugriva stayed on Rishyamukha Parvat. Compared to his previous life, there was shanti there. But what was his mindset? Vali can come anytime. Vali can come anytime, always ready to run. And that Vali is karma phala. Unless we abide in Chaitanya Swarupa Atma, this fear of karma phala will always be there. Because karta is there, bhokta is there, we cannot be free from fear of karma phala. Until and unless I start recognizing myself as actionless self, until I keep identifying with finite ahankara, I cannot be free from the fear of experiences. The one who has negated this ahankara, negated jagat as mithya, says that person can live the second line. Param shantim adhigacchati. Arjuna must have asked, Bhagavan, how much time will it take if I have started, and let us say I have all these qualities, Shraddha I have, Tatparata I have, Sanyatendriya I am trying. How much time will it take? Bhagavan, diplomatic answer. Achirena adhigacchati. Not too long. Not too long. There are two interpretations of this. Bhagavan says not too long because it depends on our sincerity in quest. How much are we committed and how much are we sincerely seeking this goal? If it is really sincere, he says not too long. It's a good news from Bhagavan. Huh? Otherwise we feel sometimes, in this janma, I don't know. Maybe this janma I will do Shravanam, next janma I will do Mananam, then I will come back as Jata Siddha, like Bhagavan, Raman Maharshi ji, and only do Nididhyasanam. He says, no, Achirena adhigacchati. What did Ashtavakra ji tell Janak Maharaj? He said, if you have put one foot on the horse and you are about to put the other foot, how much time it takes? That much time it takes for jnanam. But to put that first foot itself is a long journey. That itself is a long journey. So that is one meaning of Achirena adhigacchati. Proportional to the efforts we are putting as sadhakas. Another meaning of Achirena adhigacchati is, in whosever heart knowledge has dawned, that Mahatma always feels this came very early. He says, Bhagavan, the effort I put and what you have blessed me with. He doesn't feel Bhagavan delayed him too much. That is another meaning of the word Achirena adhigacchati. Whichever devotee Bhagavan has saved, no devotee felt Bhagavan made them wait too long. Either it is Gajendra or it is Draupadi. Any devotee has called on to the Lord. In how much time did Bhagavan help? Achirena adhigacchati. Not too long. Okay, 6 qualifications were given, 3 external, 3 internal. Now with all of this, Bhagavan says, look at the Phalashruti now. If Jnanam really takes place in a person, what will happen to him? 35. Yajñātvāna punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutanya sheshena Drakshasyatmanyatho mayi Yajñātvā na punarmoham Evam yasyasi pandava Yena bhutanyasheshena Drakshasyatmanyatho mayi. Yajñātvā, having known this supremost truth, na punarmoham evam yasyasi. You will not get deluded again. All other knowledge, either once we learn it, that knowledge itself changes, or we forget it. But he says, this Brahma Jnanam is that one thing which will give eternal result. Why will it give eternal result? Because the thing about which we have gained knowledge, that thing is eternal. Unlike anything in this creation, you gain knowledge of that thing itself is temporary, that thing itself is changing. So after a few years, you have to release a new version. What I understood about this, now there is a different perspective about that particular thing. It says Brahma is Nitya Vastu. There is no change that is going to come. If you know that Brahman as your own self, that result is eternal. In Vedanta, moksha doesn't happen after dropping this body. Moksha doesn't happen after going somewhere else also. Say moksha happens the moment Mahavakya knowledge becomes suspashta. Apratibadha jnanam. Apratibadha means without any doubts, without any erroneous notions. When that knowledge dawns, he says that is the moment of realization. What is the nature of realization is the second line. Yena bhutani asheshena. All beings in this world, this entire creation, Bhutani is not only living beings, entire creation, you will see it in yourself. Yena bhutani asheshena drakshasi atmani. That sakshi which is witness of thought, in that sakshi you will see this entire creation. Atho mayi. And you will see it in me also. What does it mean? Mayi refers to Bhagavan here. And Atmani refers to Sakshi. He says Bhagavan, other name is Sakshi. In that consciousness, you will see this whole creation. So this is the Mahavakya of 4th chapter. Okay, Mahavakya of 4th chapter is this line. How it is Mahavakya, we will see in the next session. Okay, that needs a little more elaboration. But now we are almost coming to a close. I was noticing today we have just few more verses, 42nd one. So what we will do is, March 5th, that is a Sunday, that day we will have summaries. Okay, all of you will be reviewing. So if 10 of you can volunteer to review certain verses, that would be very nice. And we'll meet probably next week, just after the class, we can meet outside and go over a few points for recap, how it can be done. Like how we did for Bhaja Govindam, similar. Those of you who have not spoken in either Bhaja Govindam, Vedanta Sara, Hanuman Chalisa of course, was in San Ramon. So I would encourage all of you to volunteer. You can give your names to Bhanuji, she will collect the names. And then next Sunday after this class, we will meet outside. And on March 5th, 10 speakers, 5 minutes each. 50 minutes, we will do the entire recap of 4th chapter. It's a very rewarding exercise, just to go through different topics, different themes. So hope by before the second session, we have 10 speakers who are already volunteering. Okay. And if you don't volunteer, you get voluntold. Okay. We'll keep doing that also. There was one more question which I will quickly go through before we close. And maybe in the next session, we can keep some index cards. If people want to write any question, you can write it and keep it here. That way, I can take it up later. For the 13 sadhanas listed in 4th chapter of the Gita, the guidance is that practicing any one of them with discipline and perfection can help. But how about practicing many of them in balance with each other? Our normal lives. This is assuming that even the different sadhanas done in balance are all done with the same intention and discipline. See, one thing about sadhana is it has to be regular. If we put on too many things on our plate, we can't be regular in all of it. So it is better we take few, practice it well, and make it part of our life. Okay, for that it is said, it doesn't depend or doesn't matter how many sadhanas we are doing. Whichever ones we are doing, do it thoroughly and benefit from it. Okay, that is one way. That's why Bhagwan gave a spread, buffet it is. Whichever one you want to take, no need to try everything. Otherwise that pranayama yajna, so difficult. Means somebody who is doing that, they can do it. Everybody need not do it. The sadhanas are described as the actions needed to prepare the mind for the truth and knowledge that it will receive. This is a similar definition that Karma Yoga is given in chapter 3 discourse. Are the sadhanas then a specific implementation and the non-comprehensive subset of karma? Are they any different than doing any other kind of karma done with Karma Yoga Buddhi? That's a very good question. Whenever you talk about sadhana, one part of sadhana is doing every action with Karma Yoga Buddhi. It could be a simple thing like cleaning the house, dropping kids to school, driving them different places, going to work, helping somebody who is in need. Means every day, whatever actions we have, Karma Yoga is divinizing that action by offering it to a higher altar. But in the midst of that, we also need specific sadhanas. Those ones are highlighted in these 13 yajnas. And both have their own benefits. The subtlety of mind, the removal of impurity of mind, and mind coming under our control. That is the main one actually. See, Karma Yoga, if you just understand in the general sense, we are not disciplining the mind to do certain things. Whatever we are doing, there we are bringing the bhavana of divinity, bhavana of offering to higher altar. But we know how difficult it is to take up one sadhana, commit time for that sadhana, and do it regularly. That will not be accomplished by the first understanding of Karma Yoga. And which is important for understanding this knowledge, digesting this knowledge. So Bhagwan says, in addition to that 23.5 hours of divine living that we have, at least half an hour we should have specific divinity, which could be in front of an altar, which could be doing puja, doing meditation, doing japa, in a particular place at a given time. Okay, both have their specific things that they provide to a seeker. Okay, good. I will not try to rush through this chapter. So even if we spill over one more class after March 4th, that is also okay. March 5th. So March 5th, we will have the recap. We might end one class before, one class after. So if you have questions, you can turn it in. That way we can use the remaining time if we end early for Q&A. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.